As part of the Stop the Hate campaign, the Vietnamese American Artists and Media Association is very honored to run our program to spread awareness and also to promote cross-healing for hate incidents and hate crimes.
So hi everybody, my name is April. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Director of Youth and Education Programs at Groundswell, which is formerly known as OC Human Relations.
Hey everyone, my name is Gagandeep for Monse Chow. I go by she, her, hers, and I'm actually the Assistant Director for Youth and Education Programs for Groundswell.
Yeah, so just to tell you all a little bit about our mission and our vision, our mission at Groundswell is bringing diverse people together to build a more equitable future. And that's really what's grounding us in this work. And our vision is we envision a world where belonging is co-created and realized by all.
Exactly. And part of that work that we really try to strive, at least with our work in our youth and education program, is how do we make this idea of belonging and this idea of equity really realized for these young folks that we get to work with. And so part of the services that we're particularly providing, April and I, one of our oldest programs, our Bridges and Safe and Receptive Schools program. We're in over 22 schools right now throughout Orange County, and we're looking to hopefully grow. And that program really centers in this idea of student voice and engagement. So it's really about giving the power, just like our vision talks about, is really getting these young folks to realize they have the power to lead.
Yeah, so we work with youth. So our programming is tailored to middle school and high school youth, but we have offered also like crisis support services for as young as elementary school level. So something I wanted to mention though, a distinction between, there's similarities and there's distinctions between the Bridges program and then the Restorative Schools program. Both of those programs really seek to transform school climate and culture to be places like Gagandeep had shared earlier, right? Like places of belonging, places where young people feel seen, they feel heard, they feel valued, that their voice matters, right? They just do it a little bit differently. And so our Restorative Schools program really seeks to transform school climate and culture by way of systems change and really thinking about how do we start transforming policy, whether that's discipline, right, et cetera, to be one that's more relationship centered, more again humanizing, all of those things.
And of the 22 schools, 17 of our schools actually address that racism, racial harm, and microaggressions were the key issues on their campus.
And any other, like examples of what you can pinpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the biggest one, right? Targeting the Black community has been the N-word. So whether that is, I think that's been the largest, whether that's via text message or a student saying that in passing, right? I think one of the examples from the elementary school case that we were called in, it was a case where a student, a non-Black student, was running the track. I think it was during PE or something, and they were running the track and they had said the N-word to their friend, and a Black student had walked or had run by him. And so she felt very impacted by that because she thought that one, that he had said it to her, but two, she couldn't believe that somebody in her school community had used that type of language. And so she had a lot of, she was navigating, feeling that for the first time, hearing that for the first time, and not knowing how to continue to be in community with him, right? Not knowing how to continue, being in shared space with him because she felt really harmed by that, and rightfully so. And so, again, it was talking to both of them individually about their perspectives of what happened and then what they both needed to move forward.
That we get to do this work and we get to see the foundation of how this work can really make a difference on just this idea of belonging on campus.
My name is Paul Park. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in this mental health field for almost 20 years now. Last year alone, the report shows that the number one cause of death for Asians between the ages of 14 and 24 is suicide. And that's one of the reasons why we exist, is with the mission to, as stated in our slogan, to prevent crisis, save lives, and reduce costs. In those years of working with law enforcement in that type of setting, I've learned that about 80% of all my cases were preventable. And so I was like, why do we keep repeating to cause that can be prevented? That's the reason why I believe if I can share with people the life skill, the clinical skill, the tools that can benefit from preventing crisis, then down the line we can save a lot of lives. Right. So that's the reason why I started moving forward.
Okay.
Keep people from interacting with each other. The intention of it should have been physical distancing, not social distancing.
Nice.
Because if we have approximately a space that's safe for people, they should still socialize. But a lot of the community interpret and took that for literally in not to talk to other people.
Wow.
Not even talking to your neighbors, not talking to your families. And the fear that if I talk to someone, I may catch a virus.
Wow.
And so that creates a lot of fear of the unknown, which then triggers the trauma with our community, where there's already trauma from the war, from the refugee experience, from the boat people experience, and coming here, growing up where, especially individuals grow up in the community where they get bullied or discriminated. There's this sense of who can I trust? But unfortunately, that hysteria takes place throughout the country. And as a result of that, a lot of Asian, especially seniors, get abused, get assaulted violently. And a lot of young people, with their own inner fear, their own inner security, to all the aggression that's been pent up, now they have an outlet for them to release. And so they project all that anger, take all that anger and all that frustrations against system and against everything else onto a small group of vulnerable individuals, which oftentimes are the seniors. And so we've seen that and so forth, how grandmas getting beat up or can assaulted on the street going to the supermarket, to little kids can assaulted on the school playground. So those are incidents where the increase of paranoia and distrust of each other continue to foster and triggers what our psychological self of insecurity, which triggers fight and flight response. And so when the seniors feel that they cannot fight back because they're too weak, they either withdraw or they freeze and they stay isolated inside the house, which exacerbate the condition for their mental health. For children who are in the phase of psychological development and maturity from 0 to 18 or 20, during that 3 years of isolations, they have fall behind. They are what we call as psychologically stunted, meaning they stop developing at that age. And because they didn't develop during that crucial time period, they don't have the tool to socialize. So I have a lot of young people who now, when we interact with them, they share that they are afraid. Organizing quarterly workshops for the teens and then also parents. We also started life skill classes called Project Success. And that's our effort to be able to transfer that 20 essential life skill that I've developed through the years in crisis services to equip people to help them to prevent crisis. And whether it's in terms of the impact of hate, we cannot get rid of hate without getting to know each other individually. And so we continue to go out and do our one-on-one engagement. We could also organize community events to be able to bring people together to reinstall the message that as a community, we are still there for each other. As a community, there are still resources available, and it is also safe to interact with each other as a community. And I think that's the message of hope that we need to continue to reiterate.